Well, hello, and thank you very much for tuning in to the Q&A today, this morning, and any day I can. I'm going to be going live to answer your questions. Anything that you might want to know about or try and expand, make clear. I'll be doing several of these a week. If you can't watch the whole thing, I'll be putting this up and I'll be having it ad-free on YouTube. So you can come back and get your TV out, type in James Smith on YouTube, and you can sit through and learn about all of the stuff that maybe your personal trainer's not teaching you. Maybe you can't afford to pay someone 50 quid an hour. I'm not bloody surprised. Or maybe you're new to your journey. Maybe you're not. Maybe you've been unfortunate enough to do Slimming World or any of these other things that, in my opinion, are pretty shite. So please do get your questions over. I'll do my best to answer them the best I can. I'll try and be clear with what questions are because they do not appear after the live has gone out. Okay. Helen. Is it normal to feel overfull when eating certain foods after months? Does your stomach shrink? That's the question. A lot of people seem to think that when you diet, your stomach shrinks. I don't think that that's really all of what's happening. But if you're used to eating, say, healthier foods, satiating foods that fill you up, and you go back to junk food, when you do probably get those combinations of salt and fat and things like that, you probably overeat. That's just basics of junk food. And yeah, I don't think it's so much that your stomach shrinks, it goes to the other size. I don't think that's a really good explanation. But anyway, Chelsea, a body pump class is good for burning calories. Okay, I'm not even going to read the rest of your question because there's already an alarm bell here going off. Ding, ding, ding. You are not doing training to burn calories. You're not in the gym to burn calories. You should not be selecting classes to burn calories because, Chelsea, you are not a hamster on a fucking wheel that has to earn its dinner. The second we try and correlate training with the amount of calories burnt, we lose sight of why we're training in the first place. So imagine this, right? If I was to educate you on how fat loss occurs and I say, okay, consume this amount of calories, this amount of protein, you'll lose fat. Now, the exercise you do on top of that should be working towards a goal. Do you want a firmer ass? Do you want to feel stronger? Do you want to do your first chin up? Because body pump is just moving. It is just trying to burn calories. And although it's better than nothing in the fucking hierarchy of exercises, the second you're asking me about exercises for calorie burn, you suddenly put yourself in a mindset of needing to train to burn calories. And that's bullshit, I'm afraid. Because if you have that attitude and you can't make it to the gym or you're tired or you run down or you're sore, suddenly you don't go to the gym, you throw it all away, you go home and you binge on loads of food. Oh, I couldn't go to the gym today. So stop it. Instead, again, I've got a calorie calculator on my website. I'll put one in the comments here. This is the way you want to do it, okay? If you're looking to lose fat, which you obviously are, otherwise you wouldn't be looking to do fucking body pump to burn calories, you can put yourself in a deficit just through what you do with your nutrition. Then, at the end of the day, if you can't make it to the gym or you want to have a day off or you're really fucking sore or you're crippled with DOMS, you just don't go because your fat loss has already been created through what you've done with your calories. You know, exercise is like the icing on the cake. Don't be shopping for the icing before you bake the cake. I know I'm telling you off, but it comes from a place of love, okay? It comes from a place of love. Thoughts on trying to gain muscle while in a calorie deficit? Okay, David, not going to read the rest of your question, although you do say heading for Sydney for Christmas. Hopefully I'll bump into you. So the body can be in two states. I know this sounds pretty like science. You've got anabolism, getting bigger, catabolism, getting smaller. Imagine this fucking bag of bones with tissue and meat on it, that walking around with a brain. It's either growing in size or shrinking. Now, newbies, when they're new to training, can do both, but the majority of people want to set aside a goal and work towards it because if you're trying to build muscle, it's about feeding, it's about eating a lot, it's about making sure that you're well rested and well recovered. When you go into a deficit, it's about not consuming enough. It is about skipping meals. It's about having long periods of time without food and finishing the day with inadequate calories. So what I would do, David, lose the fat. And I'm not saying lose all the fat. Lose all the fat that's hindering your self-esteem. Lose all the fat that's keeping you awake at night when you're like, oh, I'm not happy with how I look. Then get into a muscle building phase when you've lost it. But trying to do both at the same time, it's like trying to save money and buy things that you love at the same time. They're like conflicting goals. Hey, James, how many times should I be doing weight training for BJJ and what exercise should I focus on? Okay, so there's something, it's called concurrent training. And if you're training for different things, they will start to hinder each other. So for instance, if you want to grow loads of muscle, but also train for a marathon, there is going to be something that has to give because there's only so many hours of training that you can commit to a week. And there's only so much training that you can recover from in a week. So if you can do 5 hours of training a week, you can't give 10 to two different goals, right? So if you've got 5 hours of training, it's going to be 3 hours bodybuilding, 2 hours running, or it's going to be 4 hours running, 1 hour bodybuilding. There's only a certain amount you can recover from. So if you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and gym training, it depends how much do you want to spend in each. Because if you go one way, you're going to have the muscle, but you're going to have slow progression at BJJ. The other way, you're probably going to, not be well trained enough, but you're going to have BJJ. For me, my physique's got worse over the last couple of years because I've really dialed down the amount of weight training I do and really leveled up the amount of BJJ I do. It's down to personal preference. Just don't negate the weight training far enough that you might end up getting injured or put yourself in harm's way, which I've done. There are times that I feel like niggles on my back or my shoulders, and I'm like, fuck, I need to start doing more weight training and less jiu-jitsu. So I hope that answers your question. If you haven't hit like, please hit like already. If you haven't hit share, hit share. My girlfriend has PCOS and struggles to put on weight. That's very strange for someone with PCOS. Often women that have PCOS, especially insulin resistance and PCOS, struggle to lose weight. Do you have any advice for her? Okay. If someone has PCOS, I always recommend supplementing inositol. Now, you can get that online, inositol. But if anyone wants to gain weight, if anyone wants to, gain size, muscle strength, most times the cause is not enough calories, not enough eating, not enough food coming in. That's why even when you look to your mates that are quite skinny, especially tall, lanky people, from a personality standpoint, they often portray like high levels of anxiety and reduced appetite. They're the type of people that tell you, when you look at your skinny, tall, lanky mate, they're always there like, oh, I'm not hungry. So often when I see these people, someone goes, James, I'm struggling to build muscle. Is that my genetics? I go, tell me about what you've eaten today. Tell me about your relationship to food. And often a lot of the time it is, just trying to get them to eat more. Exercise to improve bad posture. Do you know what? I fucking hate this debate, right? Not a big fan of having perfect posture. Get strong. That's right, get strong. To me, the majority of injuries come from weakness. If you're strong, you can do chin-ups, you can bench press your body weight, you can deadlift 1.5 times your body weight, and you can run 5K. I don't think it matters if you sit at a desk for 5 hours a day. I don't. So, Thoughts on being a permanent Aussie? Sean, I'm very grateful, very happy for that. Any views on High Rocks? Don't know what that is. Declan Bell, why is cardio so boring? The cardio you're doing is boring. That's what the answer is here, mate. There's loads of fucking cardio things you can walking with a podcast. Great. Skateboarding, maybe skateboard to work. Great. Swimming, getting outside and doing some lengths or whatever it is. Probably not in the UK. That's not boring. Maybe the modalities of cardio in which you're using are boring. Taking the stairs every day, not boring. Walking up the escalator and saying to people, excuse me, mate, can you get out of the fucking way? Okay, eggs. Is having 2 eggs per day safe? Yes. Some of you have watched the Game Changers, and for some reason, you seem to think that eggs are worse than smoking. They're not. It's propaganda from these vegan bastards. Now, if the vegans want to, fucking come out here and moan about whatever it is, they can, but they can't be non-factual. Eggs, to me, are a fantastic source of protein and fat. If you eat them just for protein, you are going to be getting a bit of fat with that, but all the vitamins and the minerals are in the fat as well. If you are someone that has eggs and you throw away the yolks, you're a fucking bellend, right? What a chickens had to go through for that. Don't throw it away. Save them. Give them someone else, or just buy the fucking whites that you can get from cartons in supermarkets. Don't be throwing the fucking yolk away. What's your recommended leg exercises for running strength? I don't even know what running strength is, to be honest, but think about this. I would give you a varied program where we go through flexion, extension of the knee through different ranges. And what does that mean? Okay, think about this. This is going to be my shin. This is going to be my thigh bone. If we do a rear foot elevated split squat, the front leg does this. You go from 90 degrees to near about 180. Now, if I give you a front foot elevated split squat, the shin angle is different. You start at 90, you finish at whatever the fuck that is, maybe 45. So I would vary the ranges of motion you go through with your legs, probably front foot elevated split squat, rear foot elevated split squat. And also then you've got that almost stride gap that would probably mimic running a bit more, maybe some walking lunges. Depends, maybe some ankle work, probably do some seated and standard ankle flexions and extensions, technically dorsiflexion and plantarflexion. Reason for that being is, again, injuries, weakness, joints. Me, my whole life, most injuries I've had are through my ankles. And the ankles just so happen to be the only area I didn't train that much because I had pretty good calves when I was younger. My quads were fucking shit, so my hamstrings, so I trained my hip and knees a lot, never had hip or knee problems. Right, we're moving through. Is feeling sore an indicator for a good workout? Okay, that's a good question. So feeling sore is inflammation, and inflammation is part of the process required to stimulate and build muscle. If you are crippled by this, then, you know, maybe you could be doing too much. And people don't like to admit that the first point of call is maybe you're doing too much. So with that in mind, feeling sore often occurs when you change something up in your program or you haven't trained in a long period of time. A little bit of soreness is good. If you're always crippled, maybe dial back the amount you're doing and see how you feel. Okay, Tom O'Leary, quite an immature comment saying bum or tits. To be perfectly honest, mate, I'm not really in either camp of either. You know, I wouldn't quantify my sexual attraction for a woman based on whether or not she had a bum or she had boobs. To me, and this isn't my PG answer, it's a multifaceted approach to my sexual attraction to women. Like, I wouldn't make the decision on those two alone. If, for instance, things that I like in a woman, 1, I like someone that doesn't wear much makeup. 2, I want someone that's just going to jump in the sea with me in the morning and not worry about getting her hair wet. I want someone who's always in a good mood and is positive. I want someone that wants to get up in the morning. I want someone that, you know, it puts up with my hyper spurts that I get when I'm overtired. Because if someone is a fucking piece of shit, boring cunt, and they've got a good bum and they've got good tits, it fucking doesn't work. And I've tried, mate. I've been there myself. I've gone out with girls that are literally so fucking fit, but they got a personality of a fucking lemon. So, you know, although I know what you're saying, no, mate. And the more men we can understand that there are so many more levels to what you want to go after in a mate. Maybe it's not a female, it could be a male, you know? So yeah, it's one of those things. George, got my first proper camera today. Tips on starting YouTube, becoming a fitness influencer. No. You don't want to be a fitness influencer, mate. You don't want to be a fitness influencer. Do you want to use YouTube? Yeah, probably. But fuck being an influencer, mate, because there are so many of these popular little cunts jumping around their room. Oh, look at me. Let's do a HIIT workout. Oh, don't want to be that, mate, right? Instead of being an influencer, how about this? How about being someone that runs their own business, helps people, and makes money? Because let me tell you this, mate. When I had 10,000 followers, I was making a great living. No one really knew my name. I didn't have a blue tick. I never did any press or anything like that. My life was great. Don't get me wrong, my life's great now. But I never wanted the big following. It just kind of happened through what I was doing. But you do not want to be a fitness influencer. You want to be a successful coach. And even if no one knows your name and you never get a blue tick, mate, if you can earn a good amount of money working with a small amount of clients that fucking love you and respect you and are grateful to all the amount you've helped them, and you get a good work-life balance, that's better than being an influencer. Because the last thing you fucking want to do is do paid posts for My Protein promoting beta-alanine to support your fucking kids. You know what I mean? Samira, best exercise to slim thighs? No. If you have fat, lose fat. But thighs, if it's muscle, you don't want to slim it. Even if you were someone in amazing shape and you go, there's too much muscle on my thighs, not enough on my glutes, I'd say, okay, let's dial back a bit the volume from the quads, maybe give it to the glutes. But I don't advocate slimming body areas. But yeah, Michael, do you change your program when training for a BJJ comp, like more bench? No, not really. No, more bench, what's that going to do? Just push people off. Maybe do a bit more cardio-based stuff. But when I say cardio, I mean like more group fitness classes with burpees and box jumps and things that are going to really make me tired. Because imagine this, right? Any technical sport, whether it's jiu-jitsu, rugby, or football, people don't forget how to miss tackles in rugby. People don't forget how to miss tackles in football. Do you know what happens? They get tired. And this is the one thing that no one fucking told me when I was aspiring to be an athlete. If you never get tired, you are very difficult to beat. And often the person that loses a fight is the one that gets tired first. So that's it. What are your thoughts on BMI? Are there better metrics? Yeah, there are way better metrics. I mean, for me, if I was a doctor, someone would walk in, I'd make an assessment on whether or not they were obese. But the BMI through general populations can be a good predictor. But yeah. So Graham, you're saying here you're 181 and 90 kilograms. Are you fat? Because if you say yes to that, maybe go on a diet. And if not, fuck the BMI. Daniel, did a bulk, now down 4 kilos, getting 1.5 grams of protein in on a deficit. Not a question, just a thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Thoughts on intermittent fasting? If you want to lose fat, probably a good idea because you're giving up 1 in 3 meals. If you want to build muscle, probably an optimal feeding in which you could get protein and food in to help you build muscle. Richard, I noticed your calorie calculator formula has changed. More calories allowed. Happy for this reason. Why the change? Basically, we're looking through our algorithm because I'll be honest with you, we're bringing out a new app. I'm bringing a new app to the market in the next year. Me and my business partner that created James Smith Academy, we're creating an app that's going to be free. So at the moment, if you want to work with me, you have to pay. You get a free trial, but you have to pay. But with the economic climate, the way the world's going, we're like, we need something that we can give to people for free. We're making that. We're doing the calorie calculations in there. And we realized we could change the algorithm a little bit to make it a little bit less aggressive. And basically, it's to do with the amount of calories we shave off or add for your activity level. We made it just a little bit less aggressive in certain areas. If you haven't hit like, please hit like already. If you haven't hit share, please do share this with a friend. These are not monetized, these lives. I do not put the adverts on. If you want to come back at any point, they're completely free. I am doing this to help you guys out. Okay. Hey, James, what would you say is the best if you train 4 jiu-jitsu classes a week? Is 2 gym sessions enough to retain muscle? I have 1 rest day. Yeah. And you know what? If you're losing muscle, ask yourself what's more important, BJJ or maybe swapping a session 1-for-1. Bit of a change of subject. Should I leave my girlfriend? She makes me feel amazing when we are together, but as soon as she goes away with work, I feel like a nobody. This sounds to me like your problem, not being a dick. I'm saying my advice to anyone going through anything like this, there are 2 things in your control, your actions and your emotions, right? So this is your emotions to the situation. This is nothing to do with her. She hasn't done anything wrong. It's nothing to do with her work. You can't try and get her to stop going abroad because that would be you trying to influence her actions instead of working on your emotions. My first point of call would be to talk to a professional. Why is it that you feel like a nobody when she goes away? Is it maybe the fact that you are, creating a persona on yourself with her? So you're lacking an identity without her, which is completely fine. If your relationship is great, I don't think it means you should leave her. It maybe means you might need some independence, or it might mean that you need to start having some hobbies of your own or something that you can pursue on your own when she goes away. Because if your life is the relationship and there's nothing outside the relationship, even though you don't break up and she leaves, you're kind of feeling lost and existentially in a bit of worrisomeness when she goes away. So that's something you need to work on. And another thing that I would say is we live in a world now where new iPhone comes out, or say you break your iPhone, you're like, let's get a new one. And what worries me is in relationships, rather than working on what we have, we try looking for something new. And let me tell you this, as someone that was single for 2 years, mate, if you leave your girlfriend and you fail to work on yourself, because ultimately working on yourself is going to be harder than, breaking up, you can just leave. You just laugh at this, not working out, I'm leaving. Working on yourself is going to be the hard thing, but then you're going to end up dating. And this is what I can tell you, and single people on this are going to agree. The dating pool is fucking terrible. And it's way worse than I remembered, because do you know what I came to realize when I was 29? All the good quality people, when I say all, I mean 80, 90% of good quality people are in relationships. Why they're in relationships? Because they're good quality people. They're good to date. They're understanding. They're empathetic. They're kind, and they're good in bed. Do you know who isn't in relationships? Fucking nutters. Fucking people that are insecure. People that haven't worked on themselves. People that are incompatible. People that don't have any aspirations in life. People that are just going through the motions. People that are fucking negative Nancy's. All of this. The dating pool is 90% of people that are not compatible for dating because they have not done enough self-development or understanding, and they haven't done enough in life. So when you go dating nowadays on dating apps, you are swiping through some of the worst compatible people ever with the worst attachment styles, and you will have to go on so many dates to find someone of equal par to your missus that you're with now. So my advice to you is, and people could disagree with me, is work on what you have, because if you're in a long-term relationship, I guarantee she's going to be one of the best prospects you come across in your life. And at 29, I was panicking that I was running out of time to find someone. So I'm very, very grateful that I did. Sorry, that was a long one. That's what she said. Thoughts on Jim Stoppani? Don't really know who he is. When can we see the podcast of Mike Thurston? It was his podcast. So hopefully when he drops it. Does your app include an exercise from home option? About 35-40% of my James Smith Academy members train at home. Do you or your team of coaches build a program with someone with CFB? I'm not sure what CFB is, if I'm honest. Not fitness related. Lovely meeting you in Dublin. Hope you're keeping up your own 100-day C-word challenge. I am, mate. Thank you very much. Are you watching the cricket? No. Not a question, you helped me get back into jiu-jitsu. Managed to medal on my first comp. Congratulations. Hi, bud, I met you at the Oktoberfest in Exeter. Approached you and you said, yeah, I remember, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to chat. Are you coming back to Exeter anytime soon? I am not, I'm afraid. Not for a while. If someone said to you that you could only do one exercise in the gym, what would you choose? Probably a deadlift or a trap bar deadlift. That's what I'd probably do, yeah. If I want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, do I need to eat more calories or less day? Do one, then the other. Lose the fat, lose the fat, lose the fat. Lose a couple kg that you need to, then just be fucking into your gym regime. Whey protein and creatine intake on hair loss. Creatine and hair loss. Now, I don't have any studies that I can point you to that says creatine is going to make you go bald. I do know anecdotally that my mate Sonny Webster, he was really receding. I mean, he had a line of rabbits running backwards. What I mean by that is he had a receding hairline, and he gave up creatine and started taking a thing, and his hair's come back. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, if I'm honest, but it's got something to do with DHT. I don't know. I don't know. It's been great to see how far you've come since the meme. Thank you very much, Sean. Also, not a question, you during the rest of Fair Points team have got me through so many bad places. Thank you so much. Thoughts on water fasting for healing gut conditions? I think, do you know what? If you had like Crohn's or you have IBS or whatever, I would try fasting and see how it makes you feel. And if it does make you feel better, maybe there's some merit to it, but I would talk to a specialist. What's better to start, BJJ or weight training? Probably weight training. Or actually, do you know what? It depends. You should be doing a bit of both. Any of you out there, no matter what your endeavor is, whether it's running, CrossFit, triathlons, you need to be doing some fundamental weight training for your joints, for your bones, just to remain healthy. It's not a good idea to do a high impact or high combat sport without having the weight training at the side. Can I lose, are protein yogurts worth 75p? Depends how much protein's in them. Can I lose weight without calorie and macro tracking? I have a history of eating disorder and tracking is triggering. Of course. I mean, like, let's look at some things we could do now. Intermittent fasting probably will work. If it doesn't work, maybe push till 3 p.m. We could look at portion control. We could look at food elimination. We could look at paleo. We could look at 5-2. We could look at alternate day fasting. There are so many things we could do. Ultimately, Jay, there is something that is going to work for you, and it's you to be your very best own scientist to do that. However, I can't give you that advice technically because you have an eating disorder and there are specialists that are qualified in that. I am not qualified in that. So there's just some ideas though. So, okay. Hi, James. Any advice on best exercises to strengthen lower back or glutes? Rushed a mixed session of weights last week and twinged my lower back. Want it to build up and prevent this again. Okay. Twinges in your lower back, it happens. Life gets in the way. So what I would say here is, build it up slowly, but don't be afraid to challenge your spine. Like, is it a weak lower back? Maybe, or it could just be a weak body in the whole. Maybe it's your hamstrings, maybe it's your upper back. You should be doing deadlifts. You should be doing all kinds of different row movements. If you think in a deadlift, there are so many components that can lose the strength, whether it's the upper back, whether it's the lower back, whether it's the hamstrings, whether it's the glutes. To be perfectly honest, I would get back into doing whatever exercise it was, but maybe a bit lower. Don't lift at speed and don't lift at fatigue. But you know, I've had some really bad back injuries in my time. I was even put on, I was put on like sleeping tablets once. What are they called? Not codeine. There was another one. Valium. I got given Valium once. I had to go on a week of Valium to help my lower back. But now I still deadlift twice my body weight. Back injuries to me are a sign of weakness more than anything else. Not even posture that much. I think it's a sign of weakness. What do you think of the carnivore diet? To me, I would never really like to give someone a diet that doesn't have vegetables in it, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, there's 6 minutes left. Thanks for staying with this. I'm going to get through this as quick as I can. Okay, I've been eating 10 eggs, 3 years, consistent, cholesterol perfect. Cool. What's your favorite exercise? Probably jiu-jitsu. I'm 14, getting into bodybuilding. Have I wasted my building years? Can I even build a good physique at this age? Yeah, I'm sure you could do pretty well. But again, you know, probably the peaks of your testosterone are behind you. But get tested, do some bloods. Here we go. How long should I diet and lose weight before trying to build muscle and bulk up? Okay, your language here, Stephen. Okay, how long should I diet until you've lost enough fat? Not all fat, but enough fat. Then trying to build muscle and bulk up. Instead of thinking about bulking up, think about getting stronger. Think about improving your bench, improving your stamina, improving the amount of chin-ups you can do, improving the deadlift 10 rep max, all of those things. So yeah. Let's have a look. Football, JSA or Progress 247, whichever you prefer. Darren's got another paid program. I'm not going to take money out of his pocket by saying mine's better. He might say that. It's up to you. I'm pretty sure, well, I've got a free trial for a week. I'm not sure if he's got a free trial. Trial them out. And Darren and I both would rather have a happy client than have the money. So I know that I can look you in the eyes and say, if you join my program and you don't like it, in the first 2 weeks, I'll give you all your money back. I just literally hit refund. Pretty sure he does the same thing as well. So whichever one you do, it's risk-free. Okay. 45 female, currently 85 kilograms, 1,700 calories a day for the last 8 weeks. Doing weight training 6 days a week, haven't lost any weight. What could I be doing wrong? Consuming too many calories. So irrespective of any issues that you might be having, if any of you out there are trying to lose fat and you're not losing fat, what can you do? Reduce your calories by 10 to 15%. Because if you start losing weight again, we know definitely there was too many calories. Okay, let's have a look. How do you fancy England's chances the remainder of the autumn internationals? Do you know what? I haven't been following the rugby. I'm sorry, but I will have to get into it. Met you before our game in Belfast in September versus Ulster. Enjoyed our chat. Will you ever go back to playing rugby? You were playing for Connacht region. Connacht. I know, Jack. Will I ever go back to playing rugby? Probably not, although I do have my boots on me. I remember you boys were some of the biggest bastards I've ever seen in my life. How's the new Through Dark gi? It looks so slick. Have you rolled in it yet? Yes, Sam. So Through Dark did a collaboration with a company called Fortitude. Now, Fortitude do amazing lightweight gis. I don't get paid to say this. I was actually competing in jiu-jitsu and they came up and gave me a gi, and it's one of the best gis I've ever used. So even if you don't get the Through Dark Fortitude one, I do love Through Dark. Special Forces lads doing great things. The Fortitude one is amazing. Okay, we're going to stroll through as quick as I can. Thoughts on how much you should charge as an online coach? You charge based on how busy you are, right? So imagine this. Go in below your competitors, but when you get full, put your rates up and keep doing that, because the amount you pay for something is dependent on demand, not anything else. Look at flights at the moment. Flights at the moment are fucking so expensive because there aren't as many planes as there were probably pre-pandemic. The demand for flights is higher than the amount of seats available, therefore prices go up. Okay. Thanks, James. Loads of useful information. Look forward to the new app. Thank you. Top 3 tips you wish you knew as a new PT. As a PT, I'll have to do that in a separate video. Have you seen any dogs yet? I've actually inquired to several dogs. I'm trying to get, for any of you that don't know, I'm trying to get a rescue dog. So I could just go get a dog, but I want to get a rescue. I want to be on the live with a dog that I've given a home to, even if it's a little bit older. To me, it's really important. I'm going to be getting one from Pet Rescue, which is a charity in Australia. Also, when I get the dog, I'm probably going to donate some money because I love dogs, and it breaks my heart looking at all of these dogs that can be rehomed. Like, honestly, it's emotionally draining for me to have a look at all of these dogs on Pet Rescue. James, if a cardio machine tells me how much I've burned, how many have I really burned? 2 things here. 1, not accurate. 2, who the fuck cares, mate? You are not on the treadmill to burn calories. Why are you, loose goose, why are you even on the fucking treadmill to burn calories? If you've done a weight session, you got 15 minutes left before your fucking train leaves and you want to do a bit extra, yeah, get on the treadmill, put it on an incline, enjoy yourself, get on fucking Twitter. But you're not there to burn calories, mate. What the fuck? Like, when you get a job or employment, you don't sit there, or you shouldn't, unless you're young or a student, you shouldn't sit there going, oh, I just earned £1. Oh, I just earned £1. Oh, I just earned £1. Because passion for stuff is a byproduct. So are the results. If you fall in love with the process, everything comes as a result. I earn good money, but I'm not an entrepreneur. I earn good money because I love what I fucking do. It doesn't feel like work. When I get my laptop out at 10 p.m. to change a thumbnail on a video, it's because I love it. If you want to be wealthy, fall in love with what you do. If you want to be in great shape, fall in love with the process. If I was just there like, oh, I've just earned £1. Oh, I've just earned £1. That's not how success happens, mate. All right? If you want to use a bit of equipment, cool. If you want to use it as a metric for working really hard, how quick can I burn 100 calories on a row machine? That's fine. But don't use it as, oh, treadmill says I burnt 500. I can have a Big Mac. That's not the way to have a relationship with this, mate. All right? I've seen it. I've done it. I've been through it before. It's not the way to do it. Jesus. All right, last questions. Advice for someone who's burnt out of powerlifting and chasing numbers. Maybe get into something different. Try jiu-jitsu. Mate, we've got some powerlifters at jiu-jitsu at the moment. They're animals and they love it. An average of 1 gram protein, 1 kilogram carbs, both 4 calories. What's the difference? If any type of energy they provide. Okay, so when looking at macronutrients, fats 9 grams. We got protein and carbs of 4 grams. But we look at the satiating effect of protein for a start, which is going to mean it's going to fill you up more. Also, there's a thermic effect of protein. Up to 30% of the calories of protein are lost in digestion. So, although they have the same amount of calories, they react very differently on the body. Also, the calories that can be utilized, they're a bit different. But again, calories going in aren't the same as calories being used. Too scared to bark. Sorry, I'm going to have to skip a couple of these. When you first went to Australia, what did you do? A working visa? Yes, I did a tourist visa, then a working holiday. Have you ever managed to tap Roger Gracie? I've never scored a point on Roger Gracie. He messed me up. Can a carefully thought out plant-based diet be the best diet? Don't use the word best, but when it comes to longevity, gut health, I would never point someone in the direction of the plant-based diet unless it was ethical. But there you go. Okay, guys, that's 30 minutes. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you doing this. I'm going to do this a couple of times a week, best I can. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit like. Also, please hit share or share this video with someone who you think could have helped it. You've been amazing. If you are new to the channel and you're watching this on TV, if you do have the capacity to like and subscribe, I would love that. And any of you that are watching right now, I'm going to be putting a link on here. Every day I send emails, nothing to do with fitness. I'd love you to click on that link, give me your email address so I can tell you about things I'm doing. But apart from that, guys, you've been amazing. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love you lots. Bye-bye.